Once a month over the last few months, I have been posting a Sunday reset routine to show you different ways that I prepare for the week ahead on Sundays. Now, the footage that you see in this video isn't actually happening as a Sunday reset. I just filmed a number of things that I'm doing throughout the week to give you some ideas of things that you can do and make for a Sunday reset. But along the way, I want to talk about how you can start a Sunday reset routine that is practical, that is doable, and that can be sustainable. In case you are wondering what I'm doing in the video though, right now I am making a sourdough roasted garlic, herb, and cheese bread. So I'm actually recipe testing this. Eventually this will make its way to my blog, but for now I am just trying out this recipe. In short, this is my regular no-knead sourdough bread recipe, which you can find over on my blog at moonandmagnolia.com. But this is about 375 grams of all-purpose flour and then 100 grams of fresh milled hard white wheat. And then I'm adding inclusions. So inclusions in sourdough are where you take other ingredients and work them into the dough, which I'll show you how to do later in this video. But for this one, the first thing I need to do is roast the garlic. To do that, I just chop the top of the garlic off, I'd say about a 1/4 inch or so, put it in a little bit of aluminum foil, drizzle it with some olive oil, and then roasting it at 400 degrees for I'd say about 45 minutes or so, or until it starts to turn golden and it's nice and soft. And it really smells good when it's ready to come out of the oven. So once your house really starts to smell like lovely roasted garlic, that's usually about the time it needs to come out of the oven. We will get back to the bread and some other recipes in a little bit, but I think it's important to first note, what is a Sunday reset? Sure, it can be a time when you bake bread or make a bunch of meals or clean your house, but really at its heart, a Sunday reset is an intentional routine where you tackle the must-dos for the week ahead. I think the key phrases here are intentional routine and must-dos. A Sunday reset is an intentional routine, meaning that it is not willy-nilly, that you know exactly what needs to be done. You're not deciding it on a whim. It is very clear and it is very methodical, but you're also doing that to tackle the must-dos. That means you have to know what is happening in the week ahead as best as you can. Of course, there's always curveballs, but that's why we do this Sunday reset routine. So the must-dos are already taken care of and we can handle the curveballs. In the past, my Sunday reset routines that were just like willy-nilly, where I just did stuff without intention, where I just filled up some time doing things that I thought needed to be done, weren't really successful and they didn't offer me much down the line. But when I got really intentional with what I'm doing and what purpose is it serving, that becomes really sustainable and very repeatable because it's useful. Now here I am making some sourdough cheddar crusted pork chops. I've made these on YouTube before and you can get this full recipe over on my blog at moonandmagnolia.com. But essentially these are pork chops that are just dipped in a milk and egg mixture and then dredged through sourdough breadcrumbs and some shredded cheddar cheese. And then I bake these on a hot stone at 425, I'd say for about 20 minutes or so, really until the internal temperature reaches 145. You can definitely make these ahead of time. I know breaded foods like this tend to get a little soft, but when you reheat them on a hot stone or even in an air fryer, which is a great way to reheat breaded food, they crisp up beautifully. So you can make a double or a triple batch of these and then reheat them. And I'm pairing these with some homemade instant potatoes that I made in my freeze dryer. I actually showed how to do this in a freeze drying video a few weeks ago. I'll leave that in the description box below. But anytime that you can make convenience foods, preserve anything, freeze a few extra things that you can just grab during the week, that is time well spent, whether it's on a Sunday or any day of the week. Okay, let's talk about a few things that you can actually do in a Sunday reset routine. First of all, you can declutter, which is always helpful. So you can clean off any surfaces that need to be decluttered, such as the kitchen table or your desk, clean out your purse, take any trash out of the car, or if you're me, take out any extra toys out of the car, put away any toys or clutter back in their designated spaces. You can clean. For a Sunday reset though, I wouldn't worry about deep cleaning. This is not the time to clean out the basement and to really get down and scrub the baseboards. Instead, get the dishes done, wipe down the counters, sweep the floor, empty all of the trash cans, those sorts of small cleaning tasks. You can organize, get your calendar together, clean off your desk, as I mentioned before, review the week's to-dos, get your goals set, anything that you need to do to get organized and tidy. And then, of course, you can meal prep, which is the one I lean on the most because cooking takes up the most time for me during the week. So you can make a double batch of your favorite dinners. I'm going to show you one of my favorite dinners to double up on later in this video. You can chop any fruits and veggies for recipes or even just for snacks. Make a big pot of grains such as millet, rice, or any other type of grain that you like, or you can prep individual snacks in containers or bags. You can also bake bread, which I really like to do on Sundays because for me, it's a little bit relaxing too. So I like to make a week's worth of bread at one time. And I even freeze that bread because there's just 3 of us. So that way we don't have to rush to get through it. And of course, you can always do laundry. You can get enough laundry done for the week. I always try to fold it and put it away. But to be honest with you, I'm not very good at that part. In my mind, I plan on folding it and putting it away, but I do get it washed. And then put any unwashed clothes in the hamper. Let's talk about the inclusions for this sourdough. So the garlic is roasted and ready to go. I chopped up some basil, thyme, and sage. Those herbs were actually from the grocery store because I'm recipe testing and my herb garden is not ready yet. It's still too early in the season. So I had to go ahead and get them from the store, which I would not recommend. They are expensive. It's worth the wait for your garden. And to do inclusions, all you do is 1 round of stretch and folds to help build that gluten strength. And then on the second set of stretch and folds, so do them once, let it rest for 15 minutes. And then the second set, add your inclusions in. I like to do half a couple stretch and folds and then add the other half of the inclusions and do a few stretch and folds. And as you work through your cycles of stretch and folds over an hour or 2 hours, however long that you're doing them, those inclusions will work themselves into the dough. As you are figuring out your Sunday reset routine, I have a few tips for you to keep in mind. Number 1, think about future you. If you're already meal prepping, for example, can you make extra and freeze it so you have it for a few weeks down the line? What can you do this week to help future you in 2 weeks or 3 weeks? Set a timer for each task you do. Don't get stuck on it for too long. Give yourself 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it is to do that task, and don't go over that. And in that same vein, I also recommend setting an allotted time for the entire Sunday reset routine, just so you can strike a good balance between enjoying your Sunday and also getting things done. Number 3, use tools. Use any apps and technology to help you get it done. Use an online scheduler. Use whatever it is that helps you get stuff done. I really love my Echo Show that helps me stay really organized. I keep it on the wall in my kitchen. So if you have something like that, use it. Number 4, create a vibe. Turn on some music, open the windows, make it enjoyable, sing your heart out, whatever it is you need to do to enjoy your Sunday reset routine. And number 5, maybe most importantly, evaluate weekly. Adjust your routine based upon what worked well last week and what you need for the week ahead. It is okay and totally normal if your Sunday reset routine changes from week to week. There is a season for everything, so just roll with it. Okay, last thing about the bread, I promise this is it. So with this bread, I actually did not like the cheese in it. I don't think it's that I don't like cheese in bread because I like cheese in everything, but I particularly did not like that Asiago cheese. So I am going to recipe test that again, and I will follow up in a future video. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe to the email list so that way when that herb bread recipe is perfected and goes live, I can send it right to your inbox. The link to sign up is in the description box below. One of the pinch points in our weeks lately has been snacks. Really, my dinner game is pretty down. Breakfast is really easy, but snacks are pretty hard lately because I don't want to bring in a bunch of junk food, but I also don't really have a ton of snack recipes. So I am working on adding in snacks into my Sunday reset routine, and I am recipe testing some hummus. So I got a bag of dried chickpeas from my last Azure Standard haul, and I cook them in the Instant Pot. So when you cook dried chickpeas in the Instant Pot, you don't have to soak them. You can just add 2 cups of liquid per 1 cup of chickpeas and then cook them, I would say, for 50 minutes. I did 45 minutes. In hindsight, I think they would have been better if they would have cooked a little bit longer. But when you cook them for 50 minutes, basically that does the quick soak for you. So you don't have to worry about soaking them overnight when you do it that way. And I am making a really simple hummus with those chickpeas. So I doubled this recipe so we have a really big batch of it. And I think that was 3 cups of cooked chickpeas that I put in the food processor. And then I added, I think it was about 3 or so tablespoons of water just to help them get going in the food processor, a little bit of salt, some lemon. And then I also added in this chili infused oil from a local restaurant that is delicious. And then just blended them up in the food processor until they were creamy. But what I like about something like hummus is that it solves a lot of problems. So I can make this on Sunday, and then throughout the entire week, we have hummus and some chopped veggies and crackers to dip in it. It's great on wraps and sandwiches. It's good to dip bread in. It's also delicious on a salad. So there are a lot of different ways that we can enjoy hummus throughout the week. And so anytime I'm working through a Sunday reset, I often try to figure out recipes that can serve multiple functions or multiple purposes during the coming days. It's really just a better bang for your buck that way. I have mentioned a lot that my Sunday reset routine changes from week to week, and there are seasons where I just need some things more than others. But in general, for my personal Sunday reset routine, I usually do some combination of grocery shopping, food prep. I like to wash all of my daughter's clothes on my Sunday reset. I try to get my clothes in there too, but definitely my daughter's clothes. I bake my bread for the week. I wash all the dishes. I mean, dishes are like a daily thing, but I try to make sure on Sunday night, every single dish in the house is clean. So on Monday, we can just start fresh in the kitchen. I like to restock all of the kitchen towels, review my calendar and to-do list, and then also tidy up the living areas. I mentioned earlier that a Sunday reset isn't really a time for deep cleaning. And I do think sometimes a Sunday reset can be a great time for deep cleaning. I think I did that in January. I did a deep clean for a January Sunday reset video. But generally, a Sunday reset is a shorter amount of time than what you would probably have for deep cleaning. So when it comes to cleaning during a Sunday reset, I really encourage you just to do the little things. And really, if you do just a couple little cleaning tasks, sweep, maybe mop the floor, wipe down the counters, clean the bathrooms really quickly, those sorts of things, they really start to add up to a lot of help and really makes you feel better during the week. Of course, when you deep clean your house, it feels really great. But unless deep cleaning is your jam, which for some people it is, it brings them life, not me so much. But generally speaking, deep cleaning is a bigger project than what a Sunday reset is. Because remember, a Sunday reset is an intentional routine during an allotted amount of time that is manageable and sustainable and that you can do every week without dreading it. Okay, let's talk about this homemade Sloppy Joe's recipe. This is a family favorite, and I think it might be one of my husband's all-time favorite foods. So this recipe is one of my favorites for meal prepping because it's really easy to double, triple, or even quadruple. Not all recipes lend themselves to multiplying, but this one really does. To make a single batch of this homemade Sloppy Joe's recipe, first just brown 1 pound of ground beef in a Dutch oven. And once it's almost brown, maybe just still a little bit of pink, throw in about a half of an onion minced. And once the onion is translucent, things start to get really easy. Throw in about 1 cup of ketchup, approximately a third a cup of water, 1 tablespoon of dark brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of yellow mustard, a half a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, and a teaspoon of chili powder, and some salt and pepper to taste. But the thing is, those ingredients, you can eyeball them and it will be good no matter what. Oh, and I think I also added in a few cloves of minced garlic. But the thing is about a recipe like this, it's really helpful on a Sunday reset because you're trying to get a few things done. And so don't get bogged down during your Sunday reset with complicated recipes that take forever. Choose recipes that you can double or triple really easily and that you don't really have to worry about that much. Just throw the ingredients in there. You can kind of taste test it along the way and see how it goes. But anything that can be made like that on the fly on a Sunday reset, that is super helpful. And I think it's really important to mention that the benefits of sticking with a Sunday reset routine extends far beyond just getting things done. A Sunday reset routine can offer mental clarity. A clean and tidy space feels better, and by prepping meals or ticking off a couple tasks in advance, you have less to think about during the week. So it's clearing up the mental load a little bit. It offers less stress. You can start the week feeling prepared instead of feeling behind before you even got going. It can improve your productivity. You can focus on other more important parts of a productive week when the tedious tasks are done. And you can also handle curveballs with a little more ease. And also, maybe most importantly, a Sunday reset routine can include and offers self care. You can build self care into your Sunday reset. And also, by getting things done on Sunday, you can free up some time during the week to do the things you actually enjoy doing instead of feeling bogged down with the mundane day to day tasks. It's funny because often when I feel overwhelmed, I tend to forego a Sunday reset because it feels just like one more thing to do and I'm just willfully plowing through my day. However, every single time I come back to the same realization. I feel better when I reset for the week and get my house and my life in order as best as I can, of course. The weight and worry of getting the task done is often worse than the task itself. So, handling those tedious tasks beforehand frees you up to be more focused, more productive, and hopefully just a little bit more easeful during the week. And maybe most importantly, as you work through these tasks, as you build your Sunday reset routine, just remember it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. None of the things that you do on your Sunday reset routine or any other day of the week have to be perfect, but generally, these are just things that we have to do whether we like it or not. So we might as well get them done in a way that feels manageable, that is useful, and that can make our days ahead feel better. I hope you found this video encouraging and inspiring and that you can get started with a productive Sunday reset routine. Thank you so much for stopping by today, and I'll see you again next time.